Another blood-red sunset and yet another moon face, and still another 100 miles to my next resting place. Driving down the road, eyes on the horizon. Within my car, I'm all alone, but feeling good and feeling strong, knowing that this path I'm on brings me to myself. I'm driving.
Hello everyone, it's Kelly. I just wanted to let you know that Joey and I have talked, and we discussed whether to go into the COVID-19 stuff on a regular basis on the podcast for the next however long episodes this lasts, or whether we're going to provide you guys with a reprieve from the COVID-19 stuff by just continuing with our regular podcast as per normal. And we have decided to just continue with our regular podcast as per normal. So what I'm going to say is that I am doing stuff specifically to address the COVID-19 stuff, but I'm doing it in the Spirit Sherpa Podcast After Party Facebook group. Just to give you an idea of the type of things that you would get if you came onto the Facebook group, here is a sample of a Facebook Live I did recently that I posted to the group.
Where lies my passion? What feeds my soul? Question myself.
Everybody, I just wanted to check in. You didn't hear from me yesterday. And, I didn't do a lot yesterday because I used up all my spoons. I want to talk to you today about spoons. Spoons are a term used in the mental health world to identify how much emotional energy you have to deal with things in a day. So one of the things that I wanted to talk to you guys about is the concept of spoons and really becoming aware of how many spoons you have in a day to spend. And I just want to say, spoons are, if you have like 8 spoons worth of energy and you spend 8 of them going grocery shopping, as I did yesterday morning, in the process of grocery shopping, wiping everything down, finding room in the fridge, putting everything away, blah, 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 right? Then you're done for the day. You don't have anything left. We only have so much mental, emotional space in a day. And with all of the stuff that's going on and with the ways in which we're stuck at home and therefore not being able to get out and socialize and get the emotional support that we usually get and being able to see what's going on with people around us and to feel connected to others, with all of this going down, plus the fear, on top of that, we're having this problem where we have fewer spoons in a day. And if you add to the fact that you have kids or a spouse who's at home, if you add those things into the mix, or if you're alone and you have nobody at home, then you have even fewer spoons, okay? So you want to pay attention to the fact that everything that's different than your normal everyday life means you have, less emotional, mental activity. As you're going through your day, just recognize that for everything that's different, it takes much more mental, emotional space because it's not normal for us. It's outside of our comfort zone. And for those of us, even those of us who are used to going out of our comfort zone, yesterday was just, I was done. I went to the grocery store. No one was staying 6 feet from me. I felt like everybody was chasing me down and then hemming me in. And by the time I got home, I was frazzled and I had spent all my spoons. And so, I literally sat and watched TV. Played all my games on my phone for the rest of the day. And I gave myself permission to do that. So, the thing about it is to recognize that, you have fewer spoons, fewer, ways in which you can cope every day than you usually do. And so you cannot, if you want to be kind to yourself, you cannot expect yourself to do as much as you had been doing before, because there's a certain amount of spoons that are taken up just by reading every day about the coronavirus. Dealing with things like I can't go outside. Dealing with things like I can't get away from my spouse and or kids, or I can't get to anyone that I want to snuggle with and be with. And so when you start to look into all of those things really add up, and they become more significant, and they become more relevant to your everyday life, and therefore they take up more mental, emotional space, and they leave you with fewer spoons to spend on your day-to-day work. And so this is the thing, right? So there are ways that we can get more spoons. I couldn't do that yesterday because it was raining. The one I'm about to say, and it's get outside. If you have a patio or go into your backyard or any way that you can get outside in a way that's safe, please do so, because nature is one of the best ways to reclaim spoons. It's one of the best ways to spin down, one of the best ways to calm yourself, one of the best ways to be still and to refresh and renew and revitalize yourself. And if you don't have that option, you can read a book for pleasure. And I notice I say for pleasure. Unless the book you're reading for education is because it excites you and makes you happy, then I would not do a book for that you're going to learn something from. Even if the book that you're reading excites you, when you have no spoons left, you may have no ability to retain information. And so therefore a book for pleasure, or, like I like to say, I like to let the TV watch me, where I'm not attached to actually paying attention to what's going on the television. It's just there to sort of fill in the background while I'm just chilling and cooling. But even then, when you're out of spoons and you're overdone, you need to be very careful what you're consuming. So like I went on and watched one of my favorite shows, and they had a disaster happening, and somebody actually, a main character died. And I was like, this was not helpful, right? So I specifically went out and got a movie that I knew what was going to happen in the movie, and I liked what was happening. I knew it was going to be a good movie, and I watched that instead. I just want to make you aware that this is something that you want to pay attention to. Be conscious about what you're consuming. Don't spend too many of your spoons first thing in the morning just inhaling news that's going to make you depressed. There's a news service here in Richmond that they keep saying, oh, the news you need for the morning. We're going to give you all the news at 11 o'clock at night that you're going to need in the morning. And I'm like, I'm at home, and I don't want to listen to the news at 11 o'clock at night so that I sleep. Why would I do that? And I'm not going anywhere in the morning, so what could I possibly need before the morning? And so, some of these things you're like, where people are talking about it. So, it's a be aware of what you're consuming. Just be conscious of what's going into your head, because you're already working with less spoons than you're used to. And when you add stress into the mix by watching too much news or consuming too much media around the coronavirus or anything else that's negative, right? Then you're really going to actually make your life more difficult, because you're reducing your spoon level with every single thing you consume. So I just want you to be aware of this as you go through. What is it that makes you feel good, right? Because one of the things that we're dealing with right now is people are starting to get depressed. They're starting to feel like they don't have enough touch or connection, or the ability to reach out, and they're losing the ability to care about anything in their lives. It's called anhedonia. And what it means is that, everything just sort of starts to feel gray and flat, and you just don't care anymore. And so you want to make sure that you're also paying attention to whether or not that's happening for you. And you want to make a list of things that you used to care about, if that's what's happening. And make a list of how much effort it takes to make those things happen, and then rate each of them on those two scales. How much did I enjoy it? And 1 to 10, and how much effort does it take for me to do 1 to 10 or 1 to 5, whatever's easier, and then subtract one from the other, and whichever one scores highest, start with that, and start doing things that used to make you happy, so that you can begin to retrain your brain that, oh yes, I can be happy again, I can. So I've got a puzzle going. And the puzzle is one of the things that I do to give myself a sense of accomplishment, but not take up too much energy, right? And so it's a nice way to get away from the TV, to be, Jeff started doing the puzzle. My husband started doing the puzzle with me initially, but then sort of petered out on it. So I've just been trugging along on it. These are the sorts of things that you can do, do some craft projects that give you a sense of accomplishment, right? Take a nice long bath, right? Who doesn't love a nice bath? Especially if you've got kids at home and you can lock the bathroom door. Ha! The getting out into the yard, having, making a nice meal, and I know that some of you are cooking and you haven't ever been cooking in a long time. So, I know you guys, are not maybe used to cooking as much. Jeff and I love to cook. But that's one of the ways that we really do spin down a bit, is by cooking. So, find a way to stay active. I get on the phone 3 times a week with my business partner. We've been doing this since before the coronavirus hit. And we're walking back and forth, and I used to walk the neighborhood, and now I don't do that because coronavirus sits in the air, and that's not good. But I'm literally walking from one end of my house to the other for half an hour 3 times a week, and that's giving me the option. Find ways to stay active. You can still have your morning walk with your walking buddy. Just do it over the phone, and if not, then get on and listen to some great music and tool along. Music is another way to raise your mood and to increase the number of spoons you have, because when we're having a good time, we have more spoons. And so, this is one of those things that you want to really be conscious of. Maybe sit down and spend some of your time making a happy playlist. I have a happy playlist, and it starts with, because I'm happy, like a room without I don't even know the words, but it gets me up and dancing, and it gets me up and moving, and I'm very happy when I'm listening to that song. And I like In These Shoes, because it's got a little Latin beat to it. So these are the sorts of things that I want you to pay attention to. I want you to really focus in on what makes you happy, what keeps you moving, because movement is good for the soul. Movement is good for the spirit. And what gets you what refreshes you, what replenishes you, what nourishes you. This is one of the things that my people are particularly not good at usually, is self-care and maintaining your energy level and not giving it all away. It is more important than ever for us to maintain our energy levels, to refill ourselves, to nourish ourselves. So I would really encourage you to make a list of things that nourish you, and to make sure that you are doing those things on a regular basis, because we have fewer spoons than ever right now. And if you keep refilling, if you keep yourself happy, then you're at less risk of completely depleting yourself and being useless for a day. So, and I'll be honest, I wasn't doing a lot for the few days before that. I was not doing anything to bring myself up. In fact, we had taken in a dog for somebody else who turned out to be a nipper, and it had increased our stress levels intensely for 3 days. And then I went shopping, and then I was toast. And so, this is the thing you have to pay attention to is, how are you managing? And because I couldn't get outside because the dog was in the yard, and because I had to deal with the dog, and because I felt guilty about having brought the dog in because it was trying to do a good thing for somebody, all of these things, I was like, and then, went shopping, which was, I don't like shopping anyway. But these are the ways that things just sort of go south. Stressor, boom, right? So I don't want you guys to make the same mistake I made. I want you guys to be able to continue to function day to day. And so this is what I wanted to get on and jump on and say. And I wasn't planning on talking for this long. I was just going to jump on for a couple minutes, but so many people said hi. I'm happy to see you all. So thanks for coming in. I'm going to shut up now and go. And I'll jump on when I have something else to say. All right. I'll talk to you guys later. Have a good one. Bye-bye.
Where lies my passion? What feeds my soul? Question myself.
I'm also going to be offering special deals in regard to COVID-19 and the classes that I offer. And here's an example of that. The coronavirus is really messing with people right now. And I've been posting a lot of articles and videos and a lot of things to try and support you in this time. And this is particularly difficult for those of you who come from challenged childhoods, which is, the people I work with usually. So if you come from a challenged childhood and your anxiety is high and your fear is high and your hypervigilance is high, and then you get hit with all of this stuff that's going on right now, and you're an empath and you feel what other people feel all the time and it's freaking you out, and now it's amped up to ridiculous levels, this is a really tough time for you. And it's a really tough time for me and for everybody that I'm working with. And there are ways to deal with it. There are ways to make it easier. And I posted some of these in my, on my YouTube channel. I've done an episode on it on the Spirit Sherpa podcast. And I've written an article about it on Medium. And I still feel like it's not enough. I feel like there needs to be more. I feel like you guys need more support than that. And for those of you who do, I want to make a special offer. It's something I never do. So the first 6 weeks of my year-long program are called Inner Peace 101. And I'm modifying that program. I'm doing a special version of it specifically for the coronavirus and what's going on with that. And so I'm going to turn it into 8 weeks. It'll still be six and a half weeks worth of content, but you'll have 8 weeks and 8 coaching calls to get through it. And I'm doing that because right now with people being so high in fear, it's taking people longer to parse what's going on and to parse their thoughts and how they feel about things. And so I'm anticipating that the content's going to take it's going to be a little harder to consume because the fear is so high. When we're afraid, we actually lose 10 points of IQ. And so this is why I'm offering it as a longer program right now, is because I just want you guys to make sure that you get it all, right? And so in addition, because of the fact that people are having a hard time parsing and all of that, instead of doing 3 calls a month, I'm actually going to do weekly calls for 8 weeks. So you'll get 8 weekly calls, group coaching calls, with me as part of that process. There's online content that is easily consumable, even if you're busy, which a lot of us aren't as busy as we used to be now. But if you are, it's easily consumed very quickly, 10, 15 minutes every morning. And then there's a private Facebook group where you can post your questions and your assignments and things like that. So that's what the program consists of. It's going to start on April 22nd, and it'll be at noon Eastern on Wednesdays. So it'll be an hour. The conference call will be an hour. If you cannot make the conference call, you can email me a question in advance, and I will answer it or some version thereof if other people have emailed me and asked something similar. And then you can listen to the recording. All the calls will be recorded. And so normally this course, in a slightly different format, obviously I'm customizing this for this process, but normally this course runs $1,000. And I'm doing it now for $200. And I'm doing that because I want to make it as accessible as possible. And if for some reason $200 is still a stretch for you, I want you to reach out to me. Here's the goal, okay? If I don't charge you, 95% of the people won't do the work. Otherwise, I would give this away for free. But I have done that in the past, and I've discovered that people just don't do the work. And so the $200 is meant to be a stretch number. It's meant to be something that's enough that if you didn't do anything with it, you would feel upset with yourself for it. And if that's not a stretch for you, then I would encourage you to reach out and offer to pay a little bit more, because it's your investment in the process, right? And if that is too much of a stretch for you, then I would encourage you to reach out to me and talk to me about paying a little bit less. Okay. I'm not trying to make a ton of money on this. I'm just trying to make sure that you do it once you get it. And so, that's really what it comes down to for me, is I want you to actually get the material and I want you to use it, because I know what a difference it makes. I've had clients call me up 5 months into this, or 5 weeks into the 6-week program, and say, oh my God, I don't recognize myself. I'm looking at something I wrote 5 weeks ago, and I don't recognize myself. I feel like I made this up, and I know I didn't, but I feel totally different. And I really want that for you. I really want you to learn that life doesn't have to be this hard. I really want you to see that you don't have to be anxious all the time, even in the face of COVID-19, even in the face of the hysteria and the quarantine and the lockdowns and all of the stuff that's going on right now. You don't have to feel this way. And I really want to help you with that. So I would encourage you, click on the link that's in the comments. I didn't do anything fancy for this. I didn't set up a special landing page. I didn't write any marketing materials. I'm just trying to help. So, it'll take you on a link. The link will take you to sign up. The class will start on the 22nd of April. And I would really encourage you to do that now, because it's very easy to say, oh, I'll do that later, and then you forget. Or then, you go, oh, you find other reasons to justify not doing it. This is one of those times when prioritizing yourself is super important. No one else is going to do this for you. No one else is going to tell you, oh, you need to take care of you. This is the time when you really, really, out of anything, need to take care of yourself. And I would encourage you to do that and sign up for this program. You will not recognize yourself when you're done. You will be so much happier, so much more peaceful, so much more calm. And the things that come through are not going to impact you nearly as much. And if you're stuck at home with your family, you're going to have such a better time dealing with them. I promise you. So sign up below, and I hope to see you in the program.
Where lies my passion? What feeds my soul?
This deal is available to you if you are interested. You will also see these videos posted on YouTube if you would rather do the YouTube access for them. I take all my Facebook Lives and post them to YouTube as well. So if you don't like Facebook for any reason, YouTube is a way to do that. And we will talk to you soon on the next episode. Thanks so much for continuing to be part of our Spirit Sherpa community. Please share this podcast with as many people as you can. Podcasts are down about 25% across the board. Thankfully, we're not down that much. But our listenership is down because not as many people are listening, because not as many people are commuting and going to the gym and all that other fun stuff, which is when most people listen to their podcasts. So we could use your help more than ever to keep our listenership going and to keep us going. And we love you all. And please stay safe. Please stay inside. Please practice social distancing, but even better, practice staying at home. This is a great time to do your going within, a great time to be still, a great time to invest in yourself and your family, and to prepare yourself for the transitions to come. We love you, and we'll talk to you soon.
Each mile I travel over 13,000 now. I leave behind a little fear.
Spirit Sherpa is the sole property of Kelle Sparta Enterprises and is distributed under Creative Commons BY-NC-ND 4.0 license. For more information about this licensing, please go to creativecommons.org. Any requests for deviations to this licensing should be sent to KELLE@KELLESPARTA.com. That's Kelly@KelleSparta.com. To sign up or to get more information on the programs, offerings, and services referenced in this episode, please go to KelleSparta.com. This episode of Spirit Sherpa has been produced by Honu Voice Productions.
And my love and my life.